Action.
Now Ken's watching, so I can't perform.
Oh yeah, performance anxiety.
Yeah.
People always ask about the number of models we have on the battleship, and they always ask, "Well, how many do you have?" Because they're walking through the ship, and especially my office, there's over a dozen models in various places. I'm like, I have no idea how many models we have on the ship, but I have more in my living room. Is the answer I always give. And so here we are in my living room.
Here we are in the living room, and Ryan was not kidding. These, though, are not your traditional plastic. They are plastic, but they're not plastic model kits. These are brick built.
And I do build model kits, like the traditional models have since I was a kid. It was one of my gateway drugs to get into naval history. There's
always something. Yeah.
There is no better way to learn a ship than to put it together with your own hands, and then you find where each piece goes and what each piece is. You're like, well, there's this little thing. And as you assemble it, you start to figure, oh, that's the bridge. That's the director for this gun. So I've got plenty of those models too. Those are in the bedroom, though, of course. You don't put those in the living room.
No, you don't. So we're going to get into what these are here in just a second. But again, I do appreciate everyone turning in and tuning in and watching. Again, if you like these, make sure you like, comment. In case you have any questions, we do try to get to all of them. And we'll be right back to it. So Ryan, what are these models?
I really love brick-built models because you can build them a lot quicker than a traditional model. And honestly, with my work schedule, I work 2 jobs. We film this podcast on the side. I don't have time to build traditional models anymore, where you got to paint them and everything else.
I think it's the painting that really, because I mean, most people can glue, like follow the instructions, glue the base bits together, but it's the finishing details on your plastic model kits that I think is the hardest part. Where most people, you're never going to get the 10,000 hours to like weather a hull, and so people I think just give up. You slap a basic coat of paint on it, you call it a day. You tape some camo or something.
And that requires so much setting up and getting ready and then cleaning the brushes when you're over. That's not the fun part of modeling.
No, you want to be able to put it together, have fun, and then have something to display.
But a 2,000-piece kit, like many of the ones behind us here, take me about 8 hours to build, which is perfect for a day off. It's good, relaxing, gets me out of my own head.
Now, Ryan, what's interesting is that, so obviously you're Battleship New Jersey. I work for the Naval Institute. We do all this kind of stuff. You and I met at HINSA in 2018. So obviously the naval history connection is there. But it was after we became friends on Facebook, and it was like, oh, I've seen your pictures of your Kobe ship models. And then you were like, oh, I now see your pictures of Kobe ship models. And then that's when it was like off to the races.
You were like the only other person I'd ever met who had found out about these Polish building blocks.
That was like 2018, and their popularity, the Kobe brand ships was still Kobe in general was still coming up. And so to find someone else who managed to have like a few of them at the same time, and of course we had the same ones. I started off with no surprise to anyone who's followed this, but my first kits were the U-boat, Bismarck, and Tirpitz. Those were my 3.
And Bismarck was my first one, and then
that was one of the first ones that they did in general. So I think
there's no surprise there. And it's a super good looking kit. And a really compelling build too. So even though you may know I'm not a big fan of Bismarck, it's a great build. And then of course the Iowa class, which is hull number 63 in that original set. They have released a 62 hull number now, much better build.
It was on the table when we did all the other episodes that you've seen over the last couple of months. That's the new Iowa class model that Kobe released recently that they sent you because you did a bid on it on your channel. They sponsored a piece.
They sponsored some stuff on the Battleships channel, and so they sent me the kit to show off.
And so we wanted to do this episode because obviously we started to do some of this brick built stuff on the channel. and I just maybe get a little more context as to why that you're starting to see some of this. The history segment in the brick built community is ever growing, and I think that's again, as people like to, maybe if they don't have the time, the substitute of the older plastic models that you have to paint, you have to glue. Well, these sort of things are no mess. I don't have to paint them. I don't have to glue them. There's no massive cleanup or time commitment. You can do it in a weekend, and generally the Kobe stuff, at least, is generally pretty affordable.
They are incredibly well made. The plastic models that I build myself are more prone to breaking.
Of course, yeah.
Like regular traditional glued models, you lose the mast, you lose the gun barrels all the time. The first time you try to dust them,
that's it. And then it's either broken, and then even if you tried to glue it, it would never look right again. Whereas at least the masts on these, if you knocked that off, you can put it back on, and you'd have to do pretty good damage to actually break it.
Man, if a zombie came through that window right now, I would club it to death with one of these. They're very solid.
I'd pick Enterprise here. This looks nice and sturdy. You could.
Yeah, no, I'd put them down and then put it back on the shelf. It would be perfectly fine.
And if you've ever built a Kobe ship, it's basically like a solid brick core practically through most of them, with then all the outer plating just stacked up on top of each other. These are solid.
I legitimately doubt that they will float. Kobe bricks are denser and heavier. That they're you can use them with any kind of brick. But if you hold a Kobe brick or another European style brick or a Chinese brick, you can tell that the Kobe brick has more mass to it.
You can say Lego. It's okay.
It's a different type of plastic that they use. That I think is better, more robust.
It does have a slightly different feel. I'm not having built a lot of these myself. I have Bismarck. I'm going to say that the U-boat, Bismarck, Tirpitz, Yamato, Graf Zeppelin, Prinz Eugen, Scharnhorst, Titanic. That's but that collection is small compared to what's here and over there and over there. We're kind of surrounded. This was the best view. So how long? But you have other things too. Like this isn't this Iowa model isn't Kobe. So this is another Lego, or not a different type. It's not Lego, but.
Yeah. So somebody made a mock, my own creation, of a Lego class battleship, and they're selling the instructions online. So you can buy the instructions, and you can buy the 2,000 or 3,000 pieces to build it and build it yourself. That's the right way to do it to support the builder. I did not realize that it was somebody's mock. And I saw it on eBay, I think, sold by a Chinese company. They had apparently bought the PDF and then built out a Chinese brick. So I was like, oh, cool, an Iowa class battleship. And I bought it, not realizing that there was a better way to support the original designer.
Now, along those same lines, you and I have a build planned.
Oh, yeah.
So if you've seen some of the videos that have come out, you and I have a 1/200 scale New Jersey, Iowa model in Lego.
Almost all of these are 1/300 scale. So they're about 3 feet long. 1/200 scale New Jersey will be close to 5 feet long.
Yeah, and that's close to that was like 8,000 pieces,
roughly.
So the official Lego Titanic model is 9,000.
And that's also a 1/200 scale.
That's the same scale, yeah.
But it's a much more vertical superstructure. So
there's a lot more going on with an ocean liner.
Yeah.
So there's naturally more pieces. But yeah, that's going to be a pretty impressive build that we're going to end up tackling ourselves. And we'll do the full build on that. And sort of a time lapse video like some of the other ones. So I'm certainly looking forward to that.
We're thinking that one will probably take us about 32 man hours based on how long it takes to build a 2,000 or 2,500 piece kit. So we need the right weekend to.
Yeah, and that's hard for you. It's hard enough getting you for like one day to film these podcast episodes, but 32 man hours, yeah.
Yeah, especially with dry docking coming up.
So I think that will be,
But I have a box of this one we did buy. There is a Chinese knockoff out there you can buy, but we knew that this was from an actual creator. So Jack bought the instructions. I bought the bricks, the real Lego bricks, and so we've got a box.
Yeah. I'll insert some images from Brick Vault for the one we're going to build, and the link to the actual page, so you can take a look at the model itself and what we'll do. And then, like I said, when we do, so we did buy the instructions and get genuine Lego bricks, so it'll be as close to a Lego Iowa as you could potentially make in that scale.
And I'm intrigued by how that's going to work, because for Kobe in particular, they make a lot of their own custom molded pieces that are different from other building blocks, such as the anti-aircraft gun pieces, the aircraft pieces. So it'll be interesting seeing how the designer has made things like those really small parts that you can't model.
No, and I think that's
multiple pieces, and so, using traditional Legos exclusively.
And that's what actually, so in the Lego community, and I say Lego community, and I don't say like brick community, because when you go to like a big show, like a convention, like Brick Fair, Virginia, which is actually the largest brick convention in the world, in the United States. It's actually close to where I live. So I'll be there this year, displaying various items. The military, like I said, the military theme is always huge, but it's unofficial. Lego does not support military builders.
They make nearly no military sets. Back in the 70s, they made a Constellation set.
Yeah.
If you want military, you're essentially buying Star Wars.
The company has taken a stand against military themed kits. Obviously, they don't want to promote violence and everything else like that.
They are predominantly a kid's toy.
That's actually why Lego as a brand in the early years, the predominant colors are like blue, yellow, white, red. And it's actually specifically so they didn't want people building tanks and ships. And it was only in the late 90s with the return of Star Wars, the prequels, when then Lego got that contract to produce Star Wars sets. And well, unfortunately, Star Wars happens in space. You can't build a Imperial Star Destroyer without thousands of gray pieces. And it was in that time period of the 90s when Lego introduced gray in bulk, and thus then allowed people then to build their own tanks, their own ships, their own planes. Now, in fairness, Lego every once in a while breaks their own rules. Like they've done like multiple large scale Sopwith camels, and like they did the Red Baron set. Of course, with Disney money, they'll slap Star Wars. They'll throw Star Wars sets out there like crazy. Whether you consider that military or not is
some of the Indiana Jones stuff has Nazis for him to fight that have guns.
Right? Yeah, you have like the Indiana Jones sets from 2008. You have the scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark with the German flying wing, and you have little Luftwaffe pilots, and same thing with some of those sets. It's like, well, that's the Africa Corps. So unfortunately, and they don't model the trucks and everything as well as they probably could have been.
They're very much
for that
play
reason.
Pieces and
I think
not models. Yeah,
I think they want to sort of hide the fact that those were actual troops and who had guns and everything.
That's why I, as an adult, prefer Kobe kits. They're more pieces in general. They're models. They're not cartoons or play sets.
Yeah.
And they will do military things. I've got all the ships here, but they also do tanks, planes.
I have numerous Kobe planes and Kobe tanks, and I do enjoy those a lot. The pricing of these is really good. Kobe's price per piece is actually really low. I think Lego has blown itself out of proportion here recently.
Especially with the branded kits, your Lord of the Rings and your Indiana Joneses and Star Warses.
The pricing has gotten out of hand with Lego. And
you're awake! Is it the future? Did we make it to Mars? Are Legos affordable again? Not quite.
That's no secret. So at least these are pretty affordable.
I refuse to pay more than 10 cents per piece. So if I see a kit that's 250 pieces, I won't spend more than $25 on it.
Yeah. At least the Titanic kit, that's 9,000 pieces and it's $650.
Yeah, that's a very competitively priced
kit. So that's actually so that's actually a pretty good deal. Whereas that Betty that I built on the channel, 2,300 pieces, $750. And that was the discounted price. That set was originally $1,150 brand new.
Man.
That price to piece ratio makes you want to cry.
It's a beautiful model.
Oh, yeah. No, and it's taking up a lot of space in my house.
You don't get an idea of the scale from building it. How big?
Well, it's minifigure scale. So like the wingspan.
It's about 1/35
Yeah,
scale.
the wingspan is big. It's like the plane itself is this long. The wingspan is huge, and yeah, it's an impressive piece. That was a lot of green. I said this in the video, but I probably could have separated the pieces because they're all just light gray and dark green. And Ryan, you commented, you were like, this is self-harm or self.
Yeah. I told him he was self-harming. He built this entire 2,300 piece kit. It doesn't come in numbered bags like Kobe kits or Lego kits. Yeah. He dumped 2,300 pieces out on the table. And did he organize them by color? Did he organize them by piece type? No, he's just sitting there like looking for a 2x1 plate.
So that build took me 8 hours. Almost all of that 8 hours was just searching for pieces. By the time I edited out the searching for pieces, and like that's how you get to the basically 5 minutes worth of build in that video. It was unbelievable. I was like, oh my god, I'll sit here and watch this entire thing. Cut. It's just But yeah, there was a lot of piece searching. You and I did separate. We do have the pieces.
Yes.
For the New Jersey, the Iowa build. We did separate those.
We spent 2 full days.
Yeah,
separating. There's almost 16 hours. Yeah. So we've got this big box sitting in my garage here with several hundred Ziploc bags, each with a different size piece in it.
Now, just to prove to the audience that we're not making this stuff up. So the space in my loft in my apartment is my Lego room where all my Lego stuff is held, where you saw me build that Betty, and your garage is your Lego space.
Yeah, that's where all of my unbuilt pieces are, and a bunch of my models that I can't display in the house are out there.
So yeah, we take this pretty seriously. And it's amazing what actually people do create. I'll link this down below, but I actually published an article with Naval History Magazine about Lego in history and how people go to the lengths that they do to produce tanks and ships, but not only just the models of the vehicles, but like the full dioramas. And that's actually what I like to do more so than I love these models and I have a ton of them. But I really love to build like the dioramas and the full scenes and everything. And so that's what I take to conventions and shows and everything. So
I think there's a shift in the naval history community for sure, but in the history community in general, where folks our age are entering the community. And folks our age grew up with Legos.
Yeah.
And so
this is whole new generation. Like the older generations had Airfix and all those models,
all the Revell models.
And we grew up with Lego. So it only makes sense that has translated down the road. And you see that because, 15, 20 years ago, like Lego would never have released a 1/200 scale Titanic model.
They would say, who can buy this? Our product is for kids. Kids don't have $600. Are kids into the Titanic? We were, but is enough of the market?
No. And that's the thing. I think that they realize that you have that our generation has grown up. We have this income that we can dispose on things. And so might as well play to that market. And so the adult themed Lego sets that have come out within the last couple of years, I think really show that as a company, they're aware of that situation and they're trying to capitalize on it. I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to building that Titanic model. Maybe we do that after we do New Jersey. Yeah.
Well, we can't put New Jersey off much longer.
You know what I was thinking? In the Titanic, in the official Lego Titanic model, it's broken into 3 boxes.
Okay.
So but the boxes are self-contained, so they have their own books and their own bags. So in theory, you could hand a box to a single person. I would love to get you and Drakenfell to come join me. And it's like, you get a box, you get a box, and you get a box. And we can... Drac is a big Lego person too, by the way. He worked at Legoland in the UK.
I knew he liked Legos. I didn't know he worked at Legoland.
I know, exactly. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's not just you. It's not just me. It's, it's...
We've got a generation of us who grew up in the 90s who built Legos and...
he worked there for the discount so he could buy sets. I'm like, okay. So I think I that's harder to do, obviously, because he's in the UK, but he does he does make a lot of trips here, and he flies into like Dulles, which is right down the street from me in Washington. So
I know he's planning a trip to the US. I want to say this late winter, early spring.
Yeah, he'll be here in a month.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm holding his sword for him. The one we bought at Hinsa.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. He couldn't get on the airplane, so it's at our house. He's like, I'll bring a suitcase or something, and I'll be like, I'll figure that out. But yeah,
I'm not sure of any sword-shaped suitcases, but I have full faith in him.
Maybe just something that's really long, and doesn't scream weapon.
Yeah, I'm sure there's stuff like that for sports, lacrosse or hockey or something like that has.
Right. Anyway, so there you go. There's your fun fact too. It's not just Ryan. It's not just me, but it's other naval history YouTubers as well. So Titanic maybe, New Jersey definitely. I think I got a Belfast I have to build. I'm thinking about doing that too.
You haven't built that one yet.
Actually, we got that at the Imperial War Museum gift shop on Belfast.
That's so cool.
So it's like you almost have to do this, like do one of these episodes on that so that you can tell the history of Belfast and be like, yes, I got this kit on Belfast.
If Legos traveled well, or excuse me, Kobe bricks in this case, if they traveled well, I would love to throw my Błyskawica in a suitcase and fly to Poland and take it on Błyskawica.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That'd be cool. How many there's a few, and I'll get pictures of these so people don't, because I'm just randomly pointing here. How many brick-built Iowas do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's the one at work is 8, and then there's the one out there is 9.
The one out there, the unassembled one?
Yeah, the unassembled one.
So you'll have 9 total brick-built Iowas in some variety when we're done.
Yeah, in a variety of scales. They're small ones like this Chinese-built New Jersey and Vietnam configuration that I found on Amazon, all the way up to all these 1-300s, and then, of course, the 1-200 that we'll do. So a variety of scales, price points, and piece counts.
Mm-hmm. So, and I mean, it's just amazing, seriously, when you see them all sort of together, Arizona and Enterprise and all these other ships. And I have Graf Zeppelin at home, and I can maybe put an image of that in. But that's we did an episode about that here recently. That is an incredible build too. I really do like some of those things. And again, they're really affordable too. When you think something like this. Okay, maybe it's $200, versus a $650. Now, again, there's more pieces in that Titanic set, but the Lego will be 2, 3, 4 times more expensive on average. So, Kobe is definitely the way to go. And then you have the polar opposite of that, which is Brickmania, which is where that Betty is from.
Yeah,
and Brickmania, they produce some really exquisite kits, and they do some really interesting things like printing on tiles. And
talk about their business model that they buy Lego bricks exclusively.
Okay, so I this is where we tangented it off, but this is where I was going. So when you go to a like a brick fair, well, all of that is Lego. Even though this kind of stuff exists, the industry standard is Lego. And Lego has like a rule book for like legal and illegal building techniques. And so when you are going to enter like a competition, like it's basically Lego or nothing. And you pretty much have to stick to the rule book. Granted, you can bend rules here and there. Now, So if you showed up to a competition like with your Kobe model, well, cool story. Like you build a kit, with a technically an off-brand brick, so that's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah.
So what Brickmania does is they take, they design their own sets, but then sometimes they also have like third-party designers that they buy. So similar to what we were discussing before, they will buy genuine Lego bricks. Sometimes new, sometimes secondhand. It just depends on availability. They usually try to use like new stuff so they can buy it new. Then they package everything, print instructions, make boxes, do like a whole 9 yards, and give you this feel of this high quality kit. As you saw from the Betty video. And but that's why it's just incredibly expensive, because you're buying already expensive Lego, because Lego is expensive even when you buy it loose, even secondhand.
And in a lot of ways, it's more expensive to buy individual bricks and put them together to make a kit than it is to just buy.
Oh yeah. There's a
prepackaged
right. If you look at the price per piece when you buy like in bulk, depending on what it is, sometimes it's easier to buy a set. And I've done that before. Like when I've needed, no, I'm being serious. I did a North Africa display once, and there was a red tarp that you would see like a window shade, that you would kind of see from that. And then there was a camel. Okay. That Lego camel alone was, I think $30 on eBay or something. It was something ridiculous like that. The original Prince of Persia Lego set that both of those pieces, that sort of tarp and that camel was in, I got on eBay for $45. And it then had all the other pieces of the set, which were like tan and gray, all the things I would normally use anyway. And so I was like, well, cool. So sometimes it is easier. And they have done that. Like I've seen them go on to Target and Walmart and clean out a whole set because in that one set is one piece that they need for a production batch. Now, they also will only produce maybe 50 or 100 kits of a certain type. So it's not like Lego where they're making 10,000 examples. That Betty kit, I think they only produced I got one source said they produced 50. One source said they produced 30, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
My kit was number 4. Was labeled kit 4. So it was okay. So that goes to show you. So they don't make very many. And, they have a really loyal fan base, and when they put out a new kit, they'll usually sell out on their website the day it released. Yeah,
they had an Arizona kit, a Bismarck kit, and a whole number 63 Iowa class battleship kit, and they were all sold out by the time I found out that they existed. So that's one of the very few Iowa class Lego kits that's out there that I haven't built myself.
So yeah, it is, and they are expensive. But I will tell you that the packaging, the printing, and the actual builds themselves are pretty phenomenal. Like having had a bunch of tanks and vehicles, now that plane, that Betty, the actual models are really, really high quality. But it's just, man, that price point is killer. But if you've ever been to one of their stores, at their headquarters store in Chicago, they have a minifigure scale. Oh, hello, Ryan's dog.
Ooh. Hi, Tripper. You want to say hi?
So anyway, at their headquarters store in Chicago, they have a minifigure scale. So 133, that same scale as that Betty, Missouri model, displaying the surrender ceremony. So it's not only the Missouri model that's 20, 30 feet long or whatever, but it's also thousands of Lego minifigures in dress whites, all arranged looking down at that spot with the little surrender ceremony is going on. That's an impressive sight. And then at their store in San Diego, Miramar, they have a minifigure scale Macon Island.
Which is roughly the same length as an Iowa-sized battleship.
Yeah, so LHD 8 or whatever it is. That's impressive. And the whole...
Oh, does it have minifigure scale aircraft on it?
Yeah, so they got F-35s and Ospreys and a whole complement. All the Marines loading up onto the Ospreys. Yeah, and then the back door is open and there's a hovercraft with like vehicles that's pulling up into the back of those ships and or at least behind. I don't know, but it's interesting if you're on the West Coast, and they have a store in Mare Island too. But I'm lucky enough to have that store in Chantilly in Virginia, right down the street. Actually, maybe unlucky. So I spent a lot of money there. That's how I ended up with that Betty. But anyway, so if you're if you'd like to watch us, we're going to produce a few more of those videos, and of course we have this New Jersey episode to do. But if you like this stuff too, make sure you let us know in the comments below, and hit the subscribe button, because I know you probably don't want to, regardless of how you feel about this, you probably don't want to miss that New Jersey build. That's going to be a lot of fun. And
I've already noticed a couple things where the original builder, he has a model that's Missouri in 45, and he's got a model that's Iowa in 43, and with this kit you get the instructions for both. So there are some things that will tweak to be accurate to New Jersey.
Yeah, but that's going to be a lot of fun though. I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And hopefully some of you guys watching this, your takeaway will be, when I was younger, I felt incredibly isolated for being into this kind of history. And I had folks like my dad and people of that generation who were into history, and they engaged with history in a different way than I did, building like the traditional Revell models while I was trying to do the same thing in Lego. There are communities out there that are engaging with history in the same way you are, and the history community changes how it engages generationally over time. So like I have found people like Drakenifel and Jack who live all around the world in different places, but are into the same stuff, do the same sort of stuff. You shouldn't feel isolated in how you practice history, because there are other people out there who buy a bunch of great bricks and have the same exact thought that I can make a battleship out of this.
Absolutely. Well said, Ryan. And I do certainly appreciate it. I'm looking forward to working more and doing more like that in the future. So let us know if you like it, and we appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everyone. Good job, buddy. That was particularly touching there at the end.
That was good.
That was good. You.
Yeah, I saw you on your phone starting to buy more sets.
Yeah, we'll have to go.